what are my top 10 favourite songs by the Killers? We are going to find out what my top 10 songs by the Killers are in this video. As always, what's going on? Today I'm doing another video, and today I'm going to be ranking my top 10 favourite songs by the Killers. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like and put on post notifications and all that stuff. And I post videos just like this. I do music reviews, music, all that stuff, music collection videos, top 10s, music, opinions, reactions, all that kind of stuff in this on this channel. And yeah, I post them every Wednesday and Sunday at 12 PM UK time. If you don't know who the Killers are by now, which they're not like the most famous band in the world, but they're quite a famous band from the 2000s anyway. At least they're part of the famous band from the alternative rock scene in the 2000s. Basically, they are an alternative rock, indie rock, post-punk, revival, synth pop, indie pop and new wave band formed in Las Vegas, Nevada in the USA. And yeah, they are influenced by a range of like alternative and indie and sort of Britpop-ish kind of bands from and like new wavy bands from the 90s and 80s and stuff, such as Radiohead, Blur, Pulp, Oasis and The Smiths and so many more. But those are the kind of influences I gathered from their music and from what they've said they've been influenced by. They've deliberately said that they've been influenced by Radiohead and Pulp, but in a couple of their songs I have gathered a little bit of a Blur influence and a bit of an Oasis influence, and I guess a bit of the Smiths influence. I guess the Smiths are like the most influential band in the post-punk scene. Like most of the 2000s post-punk bands did have some post-punk revival bands were influenced by sort of like the Smiths, if you will. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into the list. Right, coming in at number 10 is Bling, in brackets, Confession of a King. A great indie rock song with post-punk and new wave influence. Has great ear candy, like synth stuff scattered around throughout the song. Also, yeah, I love the vocals in this song. Great vocals. Well, not great vocals, but just... yeah, I don't mind the vocals. Like, the vocalist for Killers is alright vocalist, but the singer isn't the best. But the vocal melodies in most of the songs in my top 10 are great melodies. Pretty much all the songs in here have great melodies and great instrumentation. The thing that brings the band down a tiny bit for me and make them not one of my favourite bands is mostly the vocals, like the way he sounds, and not like the vocal melodies, because the vocal melody writing is pretty good, but it's just the way he sounds. Like the vocalist isn't the best vocalist, but I mean I still love his singing to a degree anyway. Yeah. Yeah. Also has a very good feel throughout. Yeah, this song just has a great feel, like just a good feel throughout, just like feel good song, you know. Anyway, coming in at number 9 is a song called Runaways off their Battleborn album, I believe. Yeah, Battleborn album, which was their album in 2012, 2013, I want to say, something like that. Maybe even 2011. I think it was early 2010s, I want to say it was released in. It has one of my favourite vocal melodies from any song by the Killers. Yeah, I love the chorus in this song. It's actually probably one of their best choruses, honestly. I love the drum mix in this song. It's actually pretty good. Not one of the best mixes in the world, but I love all the I love the mixes and the production in lots of their songs. I mean, it's not the best. I guess a bit more of a raw India-ish kind of production and a bit more of a raw punky, slightly more punky production, but still still good in a way. But like, it's just like tastefully more raw, so they're deliberately not trying to make it the best that they can make it, but it is still got that kind of more vibe to it though, more than just a raw. It's not complete raw. It's a bit of overblown sound, I guess you could say. Anyway, yeah, this song is again has a great melody, not one of the best vocals, obviously. The vocalist, I won't go into too much detail about the vocalist is, but the vocalist for the Killers, forget his name, whatever his name is, has alright sound. He isn't the best vocalist in the world, but he's not the worst, but he doesn't have horrible vocals. But yeah, I still love this band, and I still love some of their like vocal melodies and stuff in lots of their songs. But it's just the vocalist timbre and tone of his voice is like a bit but the rest of the stuff about the band is pretty decent, pretty good, like really good actually. I really like the band. Anyway, right, coming up next at number 8 is a song called The Man, which I believe is from their album they did in 2018, 2017, called Wonderful, 2017, sorry, Wonderful, and it's actually a really good song. I actually really like this song. This is probably their most 80s-ish sounding song. This whole album is very 80s, like, you know, like how the 2010s, like, 80s influenced music sort of came about. Like, most bands in the 2010s that were once alternative or rock started going more of an 80s pop vibe, at least for a couple of tracks in the 2010s, and this is a prime example of a band that once did rock and roll. I guess they did have a bit of an 80s synth pop and new wavy kind of post-punky influence before, but it's a bit more apparent on this song with the more synth poppy, new wavy kind of influence on this track. Anyway, love the production on this track. It's not amazing, but I still kind of like this track, honestly. It's really great. I love the vocal melodies, and yeah, the production is great on this track again. Pretty good. Not like the best in the world, but I love the production. This song is just really, really fun 80s synth pop and new wave like style track. It's just fun when it has a great melody and it has like a nice like bass line, synth line bit on. Anyway, right, coming in at number 7 is a song that isn't a great song, but I still really get a lot of enjoyment out of this song, mostly because of the slight auto-tune influence, and they do have a bit of auto-tune on a couple of other tracks on their debut album, which I forget what it's called now, hold on, I think it might be called Hot Fuss, something like that. Anyway, yeah, this is a great song. It's called Glamorous Indie Rock and Roll, and it's not the best vocals in well, but a great vocal melodies for sure. There are great vocal melodies in this. This has a really good this is just a prime, like, really good indie song. It's got a bit of an Oasis influence. I guess Oasis have become like the Beatles of indie, if you know what I mean. Like how like most indie bands from after the 2000s started to be influenced by the Smiths were like Oasis before Oasis. Like how the Smiths and the Stone Roses were like the bands that were influencing, or the Smiths were like a band that were influencing a lot of like the indie bands and the Britpop bands of the 90s and stuff. But then and a lot of the post-punky kind of bands from the 90s, but then in the 2000s lots of post-punk bands and revival bands were getting influenced by the Smiths again, and then lots of like the more indie bands were getting more influenced by like Blur and Oasis and Pulp. Those were kind of like and a bit of the Smiths were kind of like the main influential bands for the 2000s indie stuff, and this song has probably the most Oasis-y influence out of all of the Killers catalogue. I wouldn't say the Killers are extremely Oasis-y influenced, but they definitely do have decent, some extent of an influence, I guess you could say, but yeah. The vocals in this might have a bit of auto-tune on them, I'm not sure, but it's definitely something that has really similar sound. It's not the most robotic auto-tune, but you can definitely tell there's a little bit of auto-tune on his voice, or something of a similar thing. I think it's auto-tune. If not, it might just be the way they're mixed that kind of fools you into thinking it's auto-tune when it's actually not, but I'm pretty sure it is auto-tune. Anyway, right, coming in at number 6 is a very nostalgic track for me. It's called Read My Mind. Has a great new wave and synth pop like style synthy intro. This is probably the most synth pop they ever did before the 2017 Wonderful album. It's probably for the intro, this is quite a new wavy synth pop style intro. Yeah, has a very simple and fun vibe throughout. Not amazing, but I still really like this song though. It's still decent, pretty good song, like in my opinion. Not like the best song, but a great song. And the vocals, I've obviously said about it again, it has a great vocal melody. Very nostalgic song for me. This whole album, the Battleborn album was a semi nostalgic album for me. There are certain songs on that album that are quite nostalgic, but then most of the songs from Sam's Town are very nostalgic to me, like Read My Mind, and most of the tracks that feature in here from Sam's Town are pretty much somewhat nostalgic to me. I mean, Bling Confession of a King isn't that nostalgic compared to other songs on this album, but it definitely is a song that I used to listen to a lot. Like, so I used to listen to this entire album, and most of the songs of this album are great songs in my opinion, just let down by the sound of the vocals and stuff. But the vocal writing is great on this album. Anyway, Read My Mind, yeah, great song. Anyway, Somebody Told Me, what a classic. This album was probably their debut album, and I hadn't really heard this album for a very long time until, like, I looked at Spotify and joined Spotify, and then their kind of songs were getting recommended to me, like the stuff from the Killers outside of the Battleborn album and the Sam's Town album, because those are the only two like albums I really properly knew by the Killers. I might have known a couple extras. No, I don't think I did really. No, I think those are the only two albums I knew, and yeah, but this album, the album Hot Fuss, a couple of songs, the hit songs from there, like Glamorous Indie Rock and Roll, Somebody Told Me, and Mr. Brightside, and a couple of the other tracks from there were getting recommended to me and stuff, and also when I was discovering their catalogue more fully, I was getting more into this, and this is probably one of my favourite songs that I never properly got nostalgia from as a child. It definitely has a vibe that if I was to hear this a lot as a child, this would probably stick with me and become a nostalgic track. This could have had the potential, but it's not anyway. Yeah, this is such a classic indie song. Love this song. It's great vibe, fun vibe throughout. Love the chorus in this. Just great song really. Can't argue that this is actually a fun song. Even if it's not a great song, it's definitely a fun song that you want to listen to a lot. Yeah. Anyway, coming in at number 4 is Sam's Town, the title track off my favourite album by them, Sam's Town, and yeah, it's got a really good nostalgic track for me again. Most of the tracks from Sam's Town are pretty much nostalgic for me at this point. Love the vocals, love the vocal melodies, and got simple drums throughout, but still great writing throughout the song. It's actually got some interesting melodies, I guess, pretty catchy. Also love the chorus. This is such a feel-good song again. Really do kind of love this song, honestly. You know. Anyway, coming in at number 3 is another alternative rock, post-punky kind of indie classic from the 2000s. This is such a good song in my opinion. It used to be for a very long time my favourite track, because this was like probably the most nostalgic track for me as a child. This isn't as nostalgic as a couple of the other songs that are coming up later on the list, but the other tracks are still nostalgic to me. And I did hear as a child, but yeah, this for a long time was my favourite song by the Killers until like the past year or so. Then Miss Atomic Bomb and Uncle Johnny were my number 1 and 2, which are coming up later on the list. Anyway, yeah, When You Were Young is another alternative classic, I guess. Say, I used to listen to this song when I was a younger child, because I'm technically a child now, I'm a teenager or whatever. But this is, again, another nostalgic track for me, yeah, great song. Only thing that takes us down a little bit is the vocals, although the vocals are actually a little bit better than in some of their other songs. I love the vocals, the vocal melodies and instrumental parts of most of the Killers songs, and especially this song. Anyway, yeah, right, I already just said my number 1 and 2, but I didn't say what order and why I like them, so I'll just get into that now. Number 2 is Miss Atomic Bomb, another great nostalgic track for me as a child, yeah. I love this song. This is kind of a sort of emotional love romance song, I guess you could say. The music video is good for this. This is a likely contender for my top 10 music videos of all time. Like, the Killers aren't one of my top 10 bands, but some of their music videos are actually decent. Really, really, really good music videos that actually make an argument that the music video for this song is better than their music. Their music videos are sometimes better than their music, in my opinion, for this band. Anyway, the vocals are actually probably the best vocals in the whole of the Killers catalogue, because this actually does have significantly better vocals than most of the other stuff. And lots of this album does, but particularly this song. I love the vocal melodies in this song again. Also love the synths throughout this song. Love the chorus in this, great chorus. This almost made a likely contender for my favourite song of all time, and so did Uncle Johnny, which is coming up next. Yeah, Uncle Johnny, another nostalgic track. Love this song. Love the instrumental. This song is kind of about something that I'm not going to mention on this channel, about a subject that I don't want to mention because it's a PG channel for most part anyway. Right, yeah. I love the kind of vocals on this. The vocals are slightly better than any other songs. I wouldn't say significantly better though, but still a little bit better, you could say, I guess. I don't really know, but the vocal melodies are great in this. Yeah. But this is their best song, but the only thing that lets it down to stop it from being a great song is the vocal timbre and the vocal tone and like the sound of the vocals and all that. Other than that, great like sounding song. But I would have to say that Miss Atomic Bomb is slightly better. Although I prefer this song, Uncle Johnny. This is such a good rocking song. It's a good alternative rock song, if you know what I mean. Yeah, this also almost made one of my favourite songs of all time. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this video, and if you have enjoyed this video, there'll be links to my other channels and a playlist of these songs in the description. I'll also have a link to my other stuff like Spotify, like my Spotify profile, my Spotify my Spotify profile account, my Spotify artist page, my Bandcamp artist page, and my other like stuff like that, etc. Hopefully they'll be in the description, or at least link my Spotify's and my Bandcamp and stuff in the description. I might not link my other stuff, I don't know yet, but anyway, yeah. I produce a variety of genres, so if you want to check out my music just to give it a try, then check it out. But if you don't really want to check out my music, that's fine. But if you're a fan of the Killers and you want to listen to my music, don't. Well, give it a try, obviously, but my music does not sound anything like the Killers as of what my released music is. But I might release music in the future that sounds like the Killers, but personally the Killers aren't really an influence on my music really that much. I wouldn't say much post-punk is really influence on me. I guess the Smiths, mine, are at a core of one of my influences, I suppose you could say. I don't really know, but anyway, yeah. Also, I'll put my honourable mention in the description as well, and also put links to other stuff in the description. Anyway, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on post notifications if you want, and like this video if you want, and goodbye.